Welcome back to the day in the life of Peter Bender at Bundaberg Commercial. I'm looking at the period now between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. It was supposed to be my quiet rebuild time, but life doesn't always go according to plan. The good thing about doing these series of videos also lets me keep a very conscious track of my time just to make sure that I am actually doing well as opposed to fluffing off and and not being productive. But that's one of the big challenges of working from home. You can easily be distracted. You've got the washing going, you've got the kids screaming, you've got the dog yelling, or in my case, the cat scratching at the walls and whatever else. So there's lots of distractions if you're not careful. I mentioned in the last video that I had a short lunch break, which included going doing the grocery shopping with the beloved missus. So that's taken a little bit of the time out of that block between 12 and 2 because it's sort of overlapped. Now, I was going to do some editing for the book. The 12 to 2 period was supposed to be a bit of a rest and rebuild period, but I went through and had a look at some of the emails and recognized that I needed to do some work in there. Part of what I want to do today is not only give you fluffy theory, but show you how things are done. Now, in the real estate game, there's some really cool software now that allows you to get listing agreements. That's the agreement between the seller and the real estate agent, and they can be signed electronically, which works really good because I'm in Bundaberg and this client's in Tasmania, and I ain't going down there to get it signed. I don't care how pretty they are. And to send these things to be printed and scanned and sent back, anything that needs more than one set of signatures tends to get pretty pretty rotty and scrappy, even with the technology we have today. So electronic signing is a really good option. So I had two listings come through this morning, and part of being successful means you need to have control of your processes. So I've essentially printed those off. I've got bits and pieces of other attachments that need to go. Let me just make sure I've got the right ones for what I've got here. Yes, that looks good. They all look good. Okay. So they have audit trails on the electronic documents, so you can see who it is that's signed off on the contract, because it is actually a legal document. Oh, one of my favorite office toys. Have you ever seen these? I don't even know what they're called. It's sort of like a reusable stapler, reusable, more stronger bulldog clip. So you put them here, feed it on, takes it off. Binds it like a bulldog clip, but you can take it off. And they come in all sorts of colors. I got gold ones and green ones. They're a lot of fun, but they're one of my favorite toys. You can get yourself some, and when you find out what they're called, let me know. Part of being effective with your processes, and this is where it really came important this morning, is I have tick sheets pretty well for a lot of the processes. Because when you're suddenly getting a day when you got 20 emails and 10, 15 phone calls, you can easily muck something up. And as I keep telling people, commercial real estate is all about a land of a lot of zeros. You muck something up, it's usually going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, or the client. And this morning, one of my key goals was to send an invoice out to the solicitors. As it turned out, I was lucky enough to go back to my tick sheet on the sale process, and I recognized that I'd printed the invoice, but I hadn't sent it to the solicitor. That's why it's important to have tick sheets. So this tick sheet well, it lets me know what I need to do when I've got a listing. It helps me with my compliance in regards to. There's a lot of compliance in the industry, particularly from state government. It lets me understand the compliance factors. I've got the forms. I've got them backed up. I've got them in hard copy and soft copy. Hello, the state government still means you have to have hard copy documentation. I try to run a paperless office and it works pretty good. If I had you on the mobile, I'd show you the desk. There's not much paper here at all. I'm not a big fan of paper. Um, so having those tick sheets gets makes sure that the compliance is taken care of, and I'm not doing rework later. That's one of the biggest killers of productivity. If you have to go back to a file or go back to a client because you've missed a signature, I remember I did it once very early in my career. I went to a client to get a signature. I was so excited, got it all organised, came back to the office. Boss had to look through it because the boss was a big believer in tick sheets and taught me accordingly as well. So no, missed this page. Go back, get it done properly. Took me another couple of hours to go and find them. Plus, I look like an absolute schmuck. That's not the impression you want to give as of competency. So tick sheets are really good values to me. So I'm going through. I've got a couple of those listings to take care of. I had another one which I've already finished for that big client. It also reminded me to send an invoice for marketing expenses. Now, as an insight in the industry, I mentioned it a little bit earlier about trust accounts. So the marketing invoice that we send to clients is only to be used for marketing, and the government has a lot of legislation, and probably a good reason, a lot of legislation in that. So having that marketing invoice sent out, having it ticked off, having the agreements all signed and filed means when I finish with that client's finished now. I can't do anything more now until that client gets me back approval for, in that case, an ad and pay for the invoice, which I expect to come back through tomorrow. I'll have them in my diary notes as part of my regular process. So if I don't get it in a couple of days, it gives me a prompt to give them a call because they're busy as well to run with and take care of. So that's taken up a fair bit of whack. There's, like I said, the groceries, then the processing of the forms which were in my emails. I had a look at my email and it just had gone berserk in the last couple of hours. One client was going a little bit crazy and sent me a heap of work. That's not going to be coming anytime soon. I think they're losing the understanding of what my role is. Let's just say that. I also had a phone call come in. Phone calls, I don't consider them interruptions. You need to keep working things forward, and it's a matter of discussions and communication, be it emails or phone calls, that make that progress go forward. This particular client, whilst I don't record them and play them to you, for obvious reasons of confidentiality, mind you, from a training point of view and an interest, it's always good. This client has a business. I'm selling another one of their businesses. They've got a young kid, about three. He's pretty busy. He's an outdoor business and it's 35 degrees. He's boiling. Actually, I think it was 39 down in Brisbane this morning. So he's really, really cooking in that sort of space. And he's also just had his second son born only a couple of weeks ago. So that poor guy is crazy as a barrel of monkeys right now. I sent a request for information and understandably just said, "Oh, look, I'm over it. Let's pull this listing. Let's not do it. Don't want to do it now. I've got too much trouble." That was very unlike him. So I left it for a day and then made an effort to give him a call to see what's going on because it is unusual. I know he's under a lot of pressure. Turns out his number one son destroyed number one laptop. So he couldn't get the information that I needed, which was financials. But he's settled more, got life back under control, being a dad and a husband. And with the long weekend, he's going to go over to his old man's place, borrow his computer. And that, once again, that the joy of technology, it's all in the cloud, so he'll be able to get the info I need and send it back to me. And I just basically listen to him. I do care about my clients and what their mental health is. He's okay now. He's much better than was the day before. Explained to him the buyers I got in the market. There was a new one come in yesterday who's a total different category. It was a social enterprise that's having a look at buying his business. So, I'm confident we'll sell his business in this quarter, which will be very exciting for him. Probably drive him a little bit nuts with the stress of selling the business when the contracts are in place, but we'll take that bridge as it comes, one step at a time. And yeah, that's pretty well, flogged out the 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock window. I will finish off processing this and having a look at those emails, and then I'll have a look at getting back on track and editing that chapter out. All right. Hope your hope your day's as crazy and fun, but this is what commercial real estate's about. You've got to love it. You've got to love change. You've got to be able to adapt. You've got to be able to move when you can. There are times when it's quiet and you can sit and edit a chapter in your book, and other times you've got phone calls ringing in the middle of videos. So that's right. I also did 3 videos between 12 and 2. They're not all edited, but they're being loaded up. So it's just a matter of keep progressing, do the work that you need to do, get stuff done. I think Myron Golden was explaining that one of the things in business is to obey physics. and physics is force equals mass times acceleration. So if you get a lot of work done and you get it done at an increasingly faster pace, then you are a force to be reckoned with. And that is when you have a busy time, make the most of getting it organized and getting it done. All right, hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying making them. It's crazy the day that we have. It's like Murphy's law. The day you think you're going to have, so you have it all under control and do videos. Nah, it's not the day it's going to be. But I wanted to make sure we put it through because it should hopefully be enjoyable. Leave a comment. Let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree or if this is the stuff that you are enjoying. All right, take care. God bless, and I'll catch you at the next installment, which will be 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Take care. God bless.